to really not justify reactive plating as a secondary ability, especially if your weapon doesn't require you to get close, you know?
Yeah. Man, even
Which
you
most
just
of them
saying
don't.
Vortex and Airstrike. I haven't seen Airstrike ran like, dude, in like 3 weeks.
And it's so
True.
gross though. Like it's
It's
so
true.
gross and it looks better too. Like it's harder to pick up now. Like it looks like it's a bigger radius on it too. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
Yo,
I
what up,
think in
guys?
competitive
The
play,
event's about to
it's
start right
no
now,
question.
so
I guarantee.
just
I
muted
feel like the
myself,
top
opening the stream.
4 abilities.
It's gonna start
5
pretty
abilities.
soon.
Dang it.
One
Five
There's so
second.
many good abilities now that I'm thinking about it. Because Shield is still a must run. It didn't get touched. It's the best ability in the game, hands down. It
Shit.
has been, still is. Repair Circle also is still up
All
there.
right.
You know, like that's like most ran and most like highest utility.
Yeah.
And after that, then you can start thinking about the damage or like Vortex. I will put Vortex third just because you can grip the whole team and just dump damage on them.
Man, you're just like making me
All right,
think,
guys,
dude.
I'm
There's
gonna
so
have
much.
to,
Like I got FOMO
unmute
and I need
myself,
to
and
like
I'll just be
run
quiet
so I
until
can
it's my
like at
turn
least
to
be
talk,
good. We're like
It'll be a
okay
good
with
event,
it.
dude.
But I guess it's 6 o'clock. We're good to start. I wonder if that means everyone just got the ping. I'm not sure how that works, but I just want to thank you four in the audience right now already. Thank you for being here. And I guess if anyone's watching on you guys' stream, while y'all are streaming this. So yeah, anyone can be watching on their streams. Our Fluso crew, those are our like MAF vouched. Those are our content creators in Spider Tanks that we put our word behind. So if you see their streams, like just throw it a like, show them some love. They're ultimately doing what we need to like make Spider Tanks like the game we want to be, like the place we want it to be. Like we talk about needing to make content and we got to support the people who are out there doing the work. But you guys that are in the Discord, y'all are going to actually be able to like join the conversation and come on stage, share your piece on the topics. We want to hear from you as well. So the people watching the stream, if you are watching the stream, you're not going to have the ability to come on stage and talk. We got to get you over on Discord and into the MAF Spider Tanks community so that you can join the MAF stage and get in the audience, and then you can ask your question. The link to that's in the Twitter, and you can find that on the Mafia socials if you need to go around that way. But again, like thank you all for being here, and this is going to be a fun night. The way this is going to kind of go down is we're gonna talk about reactive plating and then the matchmaking split. I know those are kind of like two pressing issues or like controversial issues that people tend to have a strong opinion on. So I guess we can wait to see if a few more people show up, and if not, we'll just get started. Jay Soto, you feeling good now?
Yeah, I'm good.
Let's go. Kaizen, you still there?
Yeah. Jelly.
DNK, you got your stream rolling too? You got it set up?
I decided just to not even put it up. I'm chilling in Kaizen stream.
Oh, okay.
The thumbnail hooked me in. It really made me click on it.
Jay Soto, your stream up?
Yeah. I'm streaming, dude.
That's tight, bro. You need to send that thumbnail in general chat right now because that thing is fire. I know you thumbed it over there earlier, but you need to send that back in there because that's sick.
What, MAF general chat?
So where do I put it at?
MAF general chat. So that way the people in the audience they can see this too if they're not on your stream. But Jay Soto got his thumbnail for YouTube for the MAF roundtable, and it is sick, guys. Throw some reactions to that. He used the AI art that we made for the roundtable event in the thumbnail. That's freaking sick.
That's awesome. You should post that actually in the Gala Spider Tanks discussion. So
yeah, say it's live. Yeah, that'd be a great idea.
All right, I'll do it.
Yeah, throw that over there and tell them we're live. See if we can get a few more faces.
Hey, we're live. Come listen.
Mr. Ravato, thank you for being here, man. Meditated, Timbo, Deadly. Much love, guys.
Buddy?
Guys, and got the cigar. I mean, Soto's got the cigars. Cigars in there.
You already know, man.
Dude, that's tight.
All right, dude. We got some people here.
Yeah, let's go. All right, so
Nice.
we'll just get into it. Everybody, welcome to the MAF Roundtable. Want to just thank you guys for being here and being a part of this conversation. We want to make this a regular thing and like add value to the community and give everyone a chance to like say their piece and like it's kind of a respectful area, but we're also gonna have some fun with it. So thank you again for being here. It's good to see such a wide variety of people here and gamers who have a passion about this game. And we're going to talk about some of the more controversial topics like reactive plating and the solo to team matchmaking split. So these conversations and discussions are important to have because they allow us to consider all perspectives in this. Like if truth is ultimately what we're after and that's in the center, and we each have our own perspective of it and like around this thing, the more perspectives we can consider, the more fuller picture we'll have of the actual issue. So this gives us an opportunity to also come together as a community and to work towards finding solutions and kind of like a cathartic release of all that like stress we've been building up about these things that bear us down, and ultimately try to shape the future of spidertanks gaming. So community sentiment is really important, and everyone needs a voice to be heard and to resonate with a community, to like hear them out. So that's what this is. So let's embrace this opportunity to really think critically, listen respectfully, and have some fun as we get into these conversations. So thank you again for being here. Our panel of judges today is DNK like the suits, Jay Soto, General Kaizen, and Even Wave. They're a part of our Fluso crew for Mafia, and basically these are our guys that like they've got our backing. They're doing the work, they're making content for this community, and they all have something that is going to make this conversation great. I know DNK has off meta Mondays where he gives tips. Jay Soto has been putting out reels forever, it feels like. Kaizen is a Gala spidertanks chat degenerate, I guess. He's always there. I feel like I never not see you there. And Even Wave, spidertanks esports show plug. So I know we're going to have some great discussion here. So the first topic we're going to get into for the roundtable will be on the in-game ability known as reactive plating. For those unfamiliar with it, reactive plating functions like a high-tech version of Black Panther's suit. When it's activated, it absorbs a portion of the damage directed at the user, allowing them to release it as a blast into enemies in their vicinity. Some players argue that it's overpowered, and frankly, maybe that's because they die too much to it themselves. I know it's up for debate, but true. If they get close to you and you start blasting them away, like you're going to take all that damage back at you. On the other hand, some argues that it has a place in the game, and it's an interesting dynamic to the gameplay that people just haven't encountered yet. So, is reactive plating, is it overpowered? That's what we'll be discussing. So, before we dive into the arguments, let's just consider and appreciate the sheer coolness of that ability. Like, it's really creative. To literally like turn into Iron Man essentially and have this like high-tech suit. But Jay Soto, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Do you want to start this off? And I'll give you the opportunity to, uninterrupted from anyone else, like, what is your take on reactive plating?
Yeah, sure. I can start. All right, well, I mean, of course I love reactive, because I played the Santa Slay, so it's really, really hard to play with anything else. Like, when they removed reactive, I tried teleport, shield, like, you name it, right? Like, I even tried the wall, so, I mean, it's just a tank on its own. Like, it doesn't have that much power, it feels like it's short range, so I need, like, something that could help me, like, do damage. So it feels like reactive works fine for that tank, but I can also feel, like, how it's super, like, overpowered, because there's times where, like, there's 3 people together, I have, like, half health, I press reactive, I literally don't do anything but just run at them, and, like, next thing you know, like, they're all dead. And I know that's broken, but at the same time, like, why are you shooting at me if I have reactive? Like use your brain. Maybe run away, maybe use shield, maybe teleport away. Like I understand that it's overpowered, but come on, guys, like, some of you, like, just don't don't use some logic to get away.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say for now.
So you want to give a crash course for your enemies? They need to be better, is what you're saying?
I mean, they're gonna nerf reactive, so I'm probably gonna have to play something else. And I'm honestly not afraid because when they remove reactive for like a week or two, like I played teleport and it took me a while, but I was getting used to it and I was actually having fun. Because it was mostly like outplaying people. Like they didn't even expect. The next thing they'll know, like I'll be right next to them with the Santa Slay with like 2 fat snowballs on their face. I love that. So if they remove reactive or they nerf it, like I'm probably gonna try something else. But yeah, all I'm gonna say for now, maybe start watching some of my clips and see how I just approach the game when I have reactive. Like it should be so easy to outplay, guys. Like come on.
All right. So, but just as a final statement, pro reactive plating. That's what I'm getting. The sentiment I'm getting.
For sure, man.
All right, because
Soto's got to be pro reactive plating.
Yeah. Okay. Even wave. You're up next, man. I'll give you the floor. Air it out for us. I'm excited to hear your take.
Well, I'll just start off and say I am anti-reactive plating.
Oh,
sure.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of it. Let's just let me say I'm not a fan of it ever since they took the slowing off of it, because my whole beef with it is I don't think that reactive plating should be able to be used as like a kamikaze offensive ability. I think it should only be able to really be used like in a defensive capacity. Maybe, like if flamethrower got too strong, like as a way to kind of nerf flamethrower, or like, give some power back to those being flamed. But I don't know. I don't like its current usage right now, which is a pure like just offensive rushing grenade, essentially.
Well, one second, like you said something that really changed the way I view reactive plating, is that it counters flame uniquely a little better than some other weapons, because the flame is like continuously pumping out damage, to where something else that's more burst fire. Interesting. I like that. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry. Go ahead.
It's like the perfect counter for flame. But yeah. Anyway, I had so much more fun playing over the past like couple days whenever they took it out, like, or over the holidays, like when it was just matches and it was all shooting and like holding certain angles and like how many times can you hit the other person while dancing around an obstacle. Like I find that kind of gameplay fun. And then every time like somebody now rushes in with a reactive plating, it just like reminds me like how much I dislike it.
Yo, guys, should I be mean? Should I take it to the next level?
My view on reactive plating.
I just don't want to be hated by the whole community, dude.
I thought about it, meditated. I was playing with him, and like I'm not very good with reactive plating, and I like eventually it kind of clicked with me, and I was like, okay, I'm good with it now. And I told meditated, I was like, dude, I'm so good with reactive plating now, and he just like started laughing at me. And he was like, "Oh, you gotten good at clicking the button?" Like, and that pretty much sums up my view on reactive play. Like, he's right. Like, it's just like it's like a one click, just like, oh, all three, people are dead. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of it without the slowing. I think slowing should be added back.
Gotcha. So definitive statement is you're against reactive plating in its current state. And the main complaint would be that it changes the core gameplay mechanic, you think? Like the way the game should be played?
My main complaint, honestly, is just that I have less fun when people are just kamikazing me, like, from they just rush you and they have a big tank and they just reactive play you and kill you and your teammate, when you were like engaged like in this like battle with somebody else that was like kind of fun. Like you were like having fun fighting them, and then just like, reactive played it. I don't know. I think it's more fun without it, personally.
Okay. Appreciate your take, man. And DNK, we'll let you go up next. And Kaizen, you're gonna bring it up at the end.
All right. Well, both y'all make good points about reactive plating, but I got some great rants on it on YouTube if y'all want to check that out. But overall, I think it's just easy to counter. Like I'm not really afraid of it at all. Like I don't know. I feel like to like the point that is just one click, I feel like it's more nuanced than that.
Yeah,
Like
he's
I
right.
feel like it's at least like 2 to 3 clicks, like especially like when you absorb damage and like when you like put that damage out, you know, like just like the time, like somebody could shoot me twice. I can hit reactive plating to absorb those 2 shots, then turn around and put that damage on somebody behind me. You know, so like I feel like the ability is extremely nuanced, but overall, I'm just not afraid of reactive plating. Like I've never been afraid of it. I just press shield, I run away, I teleport, I walk away. You know, like it's not really that scary to me.
Okay.
And
And
also, real quick to Soto, Soto says like after the nerf, he'll probably like play something else. I feel like after the nerf, reactive plating will still be like the strongest choice on Slay. I feel like before the nerf, like Weon definitely showed me the power of RP. Like on Slay, I'm like, wait a minute, this is super strong. I would prefer the buff. And like
Yeah, but on
ever since
shield you
then, I'm
don't
like,
take any
wow, on
damage,
Slay is
man.
like a must run. So the only way I can see it not being used on Slay is if they make it worse than it was before, which I doubt they'll do.
gotcha. And just clarifying statement with Slay, it's particularly useful because the snowballer speeds you up and you can get closer.
Exactly. And also I think like the most overlooked part of it, and I feel like it could be the direction they go with the nerf, which is the resistance part. I feel like if they increase the resistance and decrease the damage, it might satisfy people who think it's like too much damage. But I don't know. I'm just not afraid of, like, I've never been like, uh-oh, they have reactive plating. Like, what are we gonna do? You know, like that's never been a thought that, you know, like even against the best RP players, like I think of like Sunny, or Sunny's good with the shield, but like Weon, like myself, like we could toss Soto on that list, you know, like just anybody who's like super good, I'm never afraid of it, you know, like, and I feel like no good player really is, you know. Like,
I don't know. See, I saw spoiler in the audience earlier, and I feel like with reactive plating, every time I match up against him, I'm like, I gotta stay away, keep my distance.
you don't
But
run shield against it?
yeah, I run shield, but still, I mean, that dude's. I feel like every clip I see, it's like triple kill reactive plating with him. But question for you, you kind of like, it seems like you're agnostic to like reactive plating, like it just doesn't phase you. You're not concerned with it. Do you feel
I
some of the
think it's a good
conversation?
I think it's a good ability, like overall. I do
Mhm.
think that me personally, I don't really see like the kamikaze use case everyone's talking about in my games. When like the only time that ever works for me is when I'm playing against people who would shoot me and not run shield. And I feel like that's very rare. Like I can look at the best players like in the audience and like in the game, and like they just either shield me, they walk away. One time Meditator, I was playing against him, he had the chicken. I ran up to him. It was him and Scuzzy. It was both of them. I ran up to them with reactive plating on. They both just looked at me. I'm shooting at both of them. They just tanked my little 4,000 damage combined. And once it was over with, they just killed me and just walked away. And I'm like, dang, like it's nothing, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's a lot of really simple solutions to countering it. Therefore, it can't be overpowered, you know.
There, okay. And I, Map Damon, I see you with your hand up. This next round, just after we get through with Kaizen, we're going to open it up to the audience. So you guys feel free to raise your hand to come on stage if you got something you want to say about reactive plating, or if you have a question for one of our members on something they said. That's going to happen next. But DNK, I guess I want to ask you is, when you came to this approach, you're just like, there's plenty of counters. I don't see the reason we're talking about it and why it's a big deal.
I think it was only like
I
5
guess
abilities in the game that didn't counter it. Also, when I like checked to see every ability like that could
that
actually
could
counter it.
count it. Fair.
Yeah,
So
like
you got plenty of
grapnel,
options.
vortex, like stun grenade, like a lot of things can just counter it, you know, if you use it properly, you know.
Hmm. I guess the question I want to ask you though is, did you at any point did you kind of go through this arc to get there, or was it like very early on? You don't really remember a time whenever it wasn't easy to counter for you.
So
Um,
I do remember. I remember the exact day I learned what reactive plating actually was. Like, and literally once I learned that you could detonate it at a separate time, like you didn't, and a lot of times I thought that it wasn't working, but I was pressing it twice really fast, like spamming it, like I spam my other ability. So once I realized you have to hit it once to activate it and hit it again to detonate it with the damage you absorbed, that changed the whole game. I'm like, oh, okay, so you can set it off at any time. So whenever someone's in range with reactive plating, you have to use shield or you're vulnerable. It's just that simple. Like,
hmm,
or get out of range. Like it's
okay.
really simple, you know.
Okay, and I'm gonna make you make a decision here. Like, are you for it? Like, it's a pro. you give it your endorsement, the DNK seal of approval, or you against it?
I'm gonna go
Okay.
pro. I think the game is better after they changed it to they took the slow off of it. I didn't even really see the use case for it before then, but afterwards, I'm like, oh wait a minute, it's actually a viable ability on more than just slay.
Okay. All right. I hear you. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for sharing your thoughts there and giving us all the details behind why you got there and why you think that. That's huge. So, General Kaizen, will you wrap this one up for us? Can
Yeah,
you share your thoughts, the general's thoughts on reactive plating for us?
yeah. I would say I appreciate every single one who joined us here in Discord. And regarding, reactive plating, or in general, when you look at the abilities in spider tanks, you look how much skill does it require and how reliable is it. If you look reactive plating as it is, it's just you press it and yeah, you can't miss it. So regarding that, it's not so skillful like, for example, grenade. You need to place it well, or airstrike, you need to place it really good, in that terms, like in skill. But it adds, you need to use it skillfully to fully put the damage on the enemy team. And many people who complain about reactive plating underestimate how skillful you must be, to make that make the decision, to go to the enemy team. Because sometimes when you have, too high bursting tanks, running into them like kamikaze style is just stupid, So it adds also, I would say, regarding skill, it's somewhere in the middle. And how reliable is it? I think it's highly reliable in the game. And I think, as DNK said, you can counter it with so many abilities that we have now. But those abilities require more skill, in my opinion, because it's a skill shot. And in general, I think reactive plating is a little bit overpowered, can be tuned down maybe on the damage, but applying, for example, the slow, as even we've suggested, would make it just not useful, because then you can only counter the short range weapons, and mid and long range weapons just smokes you. So in my opinion, I'm pro RP, all the way all the way. And Jay Soto is amazing at it, but I think DNK mastered the art of RPing. So
Okay.
yep.
Dude, what a take. I feel like that was the comprehensive take we needed to like end this thing. That was really good, man. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And so from that, I'm gathering that pro RP, you run it yourself most times or sometimes?
I can tell you this, spider tanks with RP and without, it's complete different game. And I think every single one of us can vouch, can confirm that. When they took it off for the Christmas time, for the holiday, when it went to visit its family, you could see the shift in the game. The game changed,
Mm.
It's crazy just to think about it, that one ability, can have such huge impact on the whole game. I was in deity, and I dropped to champion, combining, removing the reactive plating and facing the teams. We will come to matchmaking, in a bit, but yeah, it's just crazy. And yeah,
Hmm.
I'm pro RPing,
Okay. Okay. I think this will be a great topic to kind of start with, opening this up to our audience.
Yeah.
Just talking about how does it change the game? Kaizen and Even Wave, have they found middle ground on reactive plating changes the game? And they both talked about when it was removed, they noticed a difference in the gameplay feel. So I'm gonna bring you on stage, Matt Damon, and do you want to see? Let's see what you got to say, man. Let's see.
Hey,
Make it on.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up?
The only thing I really have to say on reactive plating is there are plenty of moves to counter it. You can even do it in my format, which is I only use Mac turret and grenade as my specials, period. And I'm trying to see how far I can go on leveling up with that. Yeah, I feel like that is a very assaultive sort of stance, and I want to see how far that can actually take me as being a full assault tank. But without its the abilities to counteract it with grenade, Mac turret placed in the correct way, things like that. For new players, reactive plating is just a freaking nuisance. When you have like a level 0 tank and somebody who has like a level 20 or above and they use reactive plating effectively, you almost can't counter them unless you have a teammate that is as skilled as you are, if not better. And you have to rely on spawns. So that way they spawn either in the correct place or at the correct time so they can back you up. Some of these guys with reactive plating, I could hit them 15 times and they're only half life. And if I'm at a 0, I'm done. So it doesn't matter timing on when you get there, on what game, either TD, Chicken Chaser, or anything like that. RP just seems to be, if you're in a higher level tank, it makes you almost impervious, where you have to have somebody with the correct special and the correct knowledge of how to use that special in order to counteract it. For new players and trying to build a user base, that seems like it's antithetical to the general outlook of the game itself. We're trying to add users. And I think reactive plating, once nerfed, would be a most valuable special to use for all players. But until nerfed, it just feels very outweighed when it comes to war players and trying to build that user base that we all want so badly.
Yeah, that's a great point, man. I appreciate you getting on and sharing that, and to speak to the beginning, making yourself the experiment. That's cool that you came up and you're like, I'm gonna see how far I can take this thing. So I just want to point that out and appreciate that. Any one of our Pluso crew guys up here, Jay Soto, Even Wave.
I think Wildfire is raising his hand, but I think he wants to.
Yeah, we'll get him on.
Yeah, and I'll also say to Matt, I think that's a really good point from the perspective of like the new players. It's like, I think everybody up here on the stage is a very experienced player, and we all know how to counter it because like it's just muscle memory for us to pop shield, when we see reactive plating. But if you don't have that muscle memory, it could be like a real nuisance. But at the same time, I do think that the developers probably also put measures in the game to kind of like bridge that skill gap for new players. Because you come in and like you don't have good aim and you can't hit people and stuff like that. So I think it, like all decisions, I think it should be thought of from the perspective of the new players and the perspective of like the more pro competitive players, and how and any change that you have might have a bad effect on one of those camps and like a good effect on the other camp. It could be completely different.
Yeah, it's a balancing act of sort of right there, and that is an interesting point of view that we should consider, is that the incentives that the game media team may have in how they balance the game, and where does that relate to like most of the people in this audience who are like very, very good players of the game who have a lot higher skill level than the mean spidertanks player. So I don't know, like that's good, and we can continue to talk about this. And if anyone in the audience has something they want to say on that as well, we'll get you up here in a second. Mr. Wildfire, I'm bringing you up on stage, my man.
Yeah, what's good? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, what's up?
What's up?
Hey, what's up? Yeah, so I mean, I was kind of forced into piloting because Gala hasn't been able to fix my game yet, right? But as a pilot, reactive plating is the reason I climbed so fast. Like without it, it's liable like on any tank, and that's why I like it so much. I do think it is overpowered though. I'd say I wouldn't add the slow back onto it, but if they were to make it so you couldn't react it to time it, because shield counters it, right? But a good player, like if I'm playing against Scuzzy or something, I know to pop it early before he can use that shield and get all that damage off. So yeah, I'm pro reactive plating, but I think it is too strong.
Okay, I got a question for you then. As you're playing pilot and you're ranking up, do we want players that are piloting to be able, like, how high can they make it up just piloting? I know Classy Crypto was just in the audience and he's doing a deity run piloting. Do you think, how much do you think reactive plating played into your rank climb, I guess?
I would say that 90% of the climb was because of reactive plating. It didn't
Okay.
matter what tank I got. I knew there was something that's gonna stay the same. Like, if I get a common level 0 Snoop tank, I could still use reactive plating to get a triple kill.
Cool. I can definitely see the importance thinking of it from that perspective, and seeing it that way definitely challenged me to think about this in a slightly different light. So thank you for sharing that, Mr. Wildfire.
Yeah, it's like a if you could only have one special ability on a desert island kind of challenge. It's like reactive plating is one of those ones you would take because it works on just about any tank.
Yeah, even Wave would only use reactive plating if he was stranded on an island.
I'm bringing shield. I'm bringing a shield.
Shield's the best ability in the game, like hands down.
Yeah.
But to Wildfire's point of, because I too had that like journey of like against the good players, you have to pop reactive plating before they can pop shield. But the best players have taught me that soon as I get in range of reactive plating going off, so if you understand reactive plating's range better than the person using it, you pop shield the second they get in range, it's absolutely nothing they can do. 0% chance you ever get damaged by it. Like, and that's the one counter to the counter Wildfire that I've seen.
I'm excited to hear from Scuzzy because he's got some good info about reactive plating that I wanted to talk about.
Yes, let's hear it from the brain himself, Scuzzy.
Oh, Scuzzy.
So, hey, how's it going? A little under the weather right now, so I apologize for the nasally voice, but I am anti reactive plating for the most part. I like it. I was one of the users back when it had slow, and I really liked it. I felt like it needed to not be as slow, but let's see. So I watched a video last night about the blue shell in Mario Kart and how it is the nuisance of Mario Kart for a lot of players. But Nintendo is not going to take that out because it gives everybody a chance, apparently. So the last place person throw a blue shell, they can then not be last place or whatever. So it got me thinking, like, reactive plating is kind of like that, where you have people like, I got my own perspective. I like to see skill, fair fights, but at the end of the day,
what up, Jack?
the reason why I'm
We're in
so
the middle
frustrated with it is
of this event,
because
dude. We're
I feel like it
discussing
takes
some
less skill
broken shit in the
than
game and what is not
most of
broken.
the other
It's like
abilities.
everyone that plays
I
the game,
think
we're having this
Kaizen
discussion.
hit the nail on the head with that. I thought he was going anti.
Yeah, so I'm
but then he
listening
went
and
pro.
typing in
I was
chat.
like, oh man, all right. I mean, I get it, but so that's my perspective. I can't use it with a lava. I am not fast enough. I can understand why people use it with the snowballer and the sleigh, but that being the best tank to use it with makes it almost impossible to counter. Almost impossible. The problem I have with reactive plating is not one user using it. I have a problem with two users using it, where you can send one over to me. I can play out of my friggin' mind and beat that one player. And in my opinion, that player did not use anywhere near the skill that I did to counter it. And then a second player comes in, ready to go, and I have to play out of my mind again just to, get them half health or whatever. So there's more that's happening. It's not just reactive plating versus one person. This is a team game. So if your teammates are not playing a full counter to 2 or 3 reactive platings on the other team, you will never win. You will just never win. And this goes at the highest level. I don't know if it goes at the medium level or the low level, but it kind of sounds like it does, where like you guys are getting triples. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but are you getting triples without reactive plating? Like, how many triples are you getting without reactive plating with just shots? You know what I'm saying?
I got 4 triples during the week of Christmas with no reactive.
Fair enough. No, I'm not saying anything about anybody. I'm just asking, I'm a fiery person. But I just feel like reactive plating gets you more bang for your buck, basically, if you want to look at it like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yo, Scuzzy, I agree with you 100%, especially in what you said about Kaizen, because I too thought Kaizen was going in one direction and he switched up on me and went in the other direction. But I guess like off of the same thing that he said, I would take the opposite stance and say that reactive plating is one of the most skilled abilities because no other ability requires you to use your physical character model in order to execute it. I can throw a grenade across the map and do 1,000 damage to you. I could like flamethrower is like, but that's not an ability. I feel like you have to, in order to use reactive plating, I have to walk up to the person that's doing a bunch of damage or walk up to the team. And oftentimes at the highest levels, if you got a laser, a lava cannon, and any double lava or anything that's longer range than snowballer, which is most things, I die before I even get in range. Like you have to pop a shield to get close or pop reactive plating to get close. And now once you get there, you're at a sliver health. Now you can pop another one or pop a shield. Either way, you're gonna die. Like I feel like in the highest levels of games, range is more important than that damage that you get from reactive plating, even when you have multiples, because if you play as a unit, it's hard for people to even get close to your unit. But I see what you're saying in terms of like when your whole team isn't equipped to deal with multiple reactive platings. But if I'm on like a triple slay team and triple reactive plating, my first thought is we're about to lose. Like even if I have the most skilled players, we just don't have the range. Like we can't do anything.
So
You know,
to that point,
I just want to say I appreciate this take because I feel most of the complaints I've heard of reactive plating were, I'm going to say, singular. It's like my experience. But this brings in some depth, as we get into like more competitive ranks, and we're talking about team stacks and matching your abilities with your team, and kind of coordinating attacks like that. So I'm glad the conversation has gone here. But Scuzzy, I think you were saying something. You were replying to TNK right there.
yeah, it threw me off stage, and then I got accepted back. I don't know.
Well,
happened,
yeah,
but,
I invited you back, Scuzzy, because I wanted to ask you something while we were still on the topic of reactive plating, because I think it's important.
I gotcha.
Which was, you got a chance to talk to the spidertanks devs recently, and you got to talk to them about reactive plating. And do you think it's bugged right now? Because I think it might be.
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure. It's bugged, and they didn't know about it. So I told Spider Emperor about it, and he went and tested it, and he said, "Yeah, I mean, it's not supposed to do damage when you die. So like when you rush in kamikaze style and you die, it's not supposed to do damage."
Yeah, I
And
agree. I've always thought that was
I
weird.
guess those guys thought that it was the user hitting the detonation button again. But I assured him, I was like, we got to test this because I'm pretty sure that it's not like that.
That's so crazy because that like fixing that bug would be like the nerf. I feel like it
I think
needs,
it makes it. Yeah, I think it makes
just
fine
fixing,
if they do that.
fixing that nerf or that bug right there might just like nerf it just enough that it's like, okay, it's like livable again.
It's more skill. Like now you have to get it off before you die. Like
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay.
I would say that I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. I tried to get confirmation from them, but like they're thinking in a sense like to maybe remove the second, like the detonation. And I was like, whoa, hold on. That removes all the friggin' skill from the thing.
Yeah.
Like I like reactive plating, not as is, because it does just like I don't like the part where when you die, like if you can, like I want all abilities to require some sort of skill. I want plays to happen. I want it to just be fair and stuff. But like I was like, Wait, hold on. Like, I think we just maybe need to take away like
Filling
that damage
semantic
when the user
This guy,
dies.
dude. He's in jail, bro.
So that
Poor
wasn't
guy.
even on the
He's in jail,
radar, but
man.
now it is. But their thinking is like a guy coming at you with reactive plating should propose a choice for the guy they're coming towards. Is either kill him before they explode or run. And Spider Emperor was saying that with the ability to explode whenever, option 1 is voidable by good players. They'll just explode before they die. And then you can also kill them before they get a chance to kill you. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm not reading this right. The main point is that if someone has like a CC capability weapon, like a slowdown effect with a brambler or a snowballer or a stinger, I think a lot of people forget that snowballer slows the opponent down as well as it speeds the user up. That's why it is so good with reactive plating right now, and it's why it's like one of the only things that like I see a snowball coming at me. I like, how am I supposed to do all that damage to you with this lava? It does like 1.5 thousand, a hit or whatever. And the DOT doesn't stack. So if I'm just constantly barraging you, I will never win that fight. So my only option is to choose a shield. That's my only option.
Back up.
No, I can't, because as soon as you hit me, I'm way too slow.
No, I'm saying you have to play it at max range. The lava outranges the snowballer. So if you stay max range, I can't get to you. I die before I even look at you.
Well, the thing is, if you're coming in a straight shot, you will still I don't think you notice this, but a sleigh is faster than a lava when you're riding on your snow.
I mean,
even if I'm not slowed down.
But I can't eat your clip. If I eat your clip, I'm dead. Like, no matter what. So I have to dodge. Like, so if you're shooting and backing up, I can't get to you. I've had this fight against you many times because you win it almost every time. Like, but I see what you mean by multiple, because if somebody can come at a different angle and you can't shoot them and now they're close, like, I see that. And I can also see the use case for them like decreasing the damage. But I think that the bug you found is like the solution, the fix to reactive plating. Because like for me, more times than not, the problem I have is I explode my reactive plating with not enough damage. Like, so I usually try to calculate my last 2 shots after my RP, because people don't see that coming. So I'll take a couple of shots, activate reactive plating, and then make sure I kill them with my last 2 shots as I'm running away. And so most of the time, like I'll mess that up. So I feel like that's like a good, it will make it a lot more skill for everyone. Now you have to detonate it before you die. And I think that's like what it needs, what it deserves. Like I 100% support that change.
Yeah. Well, I mean, can I say something about reactive?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
I mean, all I'm gonna say is like when you go to high elo and there's no reactive, like the game is so unknown. All you see is like lavas shooting from max range, rockets, brambler, like no one can get inside. Dude, you go 2-3 minutes, no kills, like everyone's just from max range. Like that game sucks like that way, man. Like at least reactive like adds adds a second mechanic, man. Like at least people can go in and try to see how mechanical they are. Can they dodge my snowball? Can they not? I mean, I see Meta how he like literally knows where I'm gonna sidestep and mess me up, and next thing you know I'm dead, man. Like, but if there's no reactive, like I cannot even try to kill Meta because I cannot even get close because they're playing like lavas, chickens. Like it's just so annoying, man. Like when you're like kind of high legend, mythic, or you just play like a bunch of mythic deities, but they're just playing like super max range tanks, and it's just like incredibly annoying.
Yeah, this is a good point. That's a fair point, and I'm gonna wrap this one up so we can get on to our next topic. But I just want to say, like, that was pretty good. Like, we got a lot more variance in the conversation than I was expecting, and a lot of specific information about reactive plating, about the tactical, the ways to use it, to detonate it. DNK dropped the tips on, how to time it up so you can get close and you don't get killed too early. We learned about like 2 people running it together, the exploit there at high levels, rushing in, kind of playing a different play style than what you were talking about, Jay Soto, which reminds me of like in football, like there's, more structured positioning. And then there's also like more chaos, like there's just random. And so they're going to be different metas and different strategies for this. Kaizen with just exceptional take. Just calling it out, plainly analyzing the situation. I freaking love that. So the next topic that we're going to get into is going to be the it is going to be the matchmaking split into solo and party queuing. And I'm gonna open this one up. We're gonna do the same thing, so it's gonna be the same format. We're gonna go through and let each one of our Fluso crew members, they're gonna give their take, and we're gonna make a decision on the hot seat. Are they for it? Are they against it? Does that really matter if we have to force them like in the situation and don't allow them to have nuance in that final sentence? No, but we're gonna do it for the heck of it. And if we have anyone that is just staunchly disagreeing with somebody, we're gonna put them head to head and let them debate this for us so that we can see this conversation happen. And then we're also gonna again invite you guys back on the stage to share your thoughts, opinions, to ask questions to our panel members. So thank you guys for being here, and let's let Evenwave. Can you start this one off for us?
Yeah, sure. I just want to say that I am staunchly against whatever D&K says. No, I'm just kidding. With the matchmaking, like I'm super glad that they made that change. Because like I've been saying for a while that there's basically, it's a little more nuanced than this, but there's basically two camps of spidertanks players. You have your like more casual players who just want to just play the game and have a good time, and then you have your like competitive, people who just like they want to be the best. They like want to work on it. They're in the shooting range. They're like cutting millimeters off of angles, trying to hit people. So like I think you have to separate those two camps of spidertanks players for each of them to have a bad time. Because if you have a really good team who's just like playing, just like Aspire level, teams, and they're just stomping them, that's no fun for anybody. The fact that this matchmaking separates the two, I think, is really important for the next step of user acquisition. And I think it was a really good move, and I'm really glad they did it.
Let's go. Okay. Anyone else? Jay Soto, General Kaizen. One of y'all. You guys
I can take it. I can take it. Okay. I mean, I really like the change. I think like having the option to play solos and there's no teams, like, that's amazing. Yeah, because during the same week that they removed reactive, like I was playing solo queue and I was just getting a bunch of like full DD teams like all day, all night. And then I went to Spider Tank to the Discord, and like everyone was complaining too. And like and then like right after this change, like solo queue just feels amazing. I know reactive is back, but it also feels easier because like you don't get those like full DD teams when you're playing solo queue. And you can start telling like who like the really good people are, which honestly I thought every single one that was like mythic duty were like amazing people, and honestly it turns out that like 50-60% of them are just not good, man. Like they just have good tanks and they're not good. Like it's just amazing how within like a few weeks of practice you can like totally learn how to outplay them, how to move, how to sidestep. Like I come from League of Legends, so that's like a very mechanical game. So I think that helps a lot, but I gotta say, like, we gotta step it up, man. Like, competitive wise, there's only like, I would say like only like 10 people that are really, really, really good at this game. And besides that, like, it feels like all of us are within the same kind of level. And some people have been playing forever, man, like more than a year. So, I don't know. I think you gotta try a little bit more if it's like esports.
Then ultimately, you're not against this matchmaking split. You feel it's got.
I don't know. I think that's exactly what we need to have it like this. Because like I said, like there's a lot of DD teams, but now that if you play solo, you won't get no team. Like you can start getting better mechanically because you get all types of people, so it helps a lot, I think. Instead of just getting a team that is just unbeatable with the tanks that you're running.
Yeah, I know. Getting a DD stack doesn't make the easiest game, and it can be frustrating when that happens.
Yeah,
5,
especially when you're solo, man. Especially when
Yeah.
you're solo and you get two champion teammates and there's a full DD team. and then they would type like "get good" or "GG." Like come on, man. Like come on, like if you're playing solos and you beat me like 10 times in a row, yeah, sure. But if you're playing like with a full DD team and I'm literally getting a bunch of champions, like come on, give me a break. And then people call me out on spidertanks Discord, be like, oh, no reactor, you're dropping elo. Like, sure, I'm dropping elo because I'm playing 20 solo games and I got like out of those, I probably got like 70% all like DD full teams. So I don't know. It just it feels unfair when you mix both of them.
Got you. We're gonna let General Kaizen give his piece on this one.
Yeah, I see Grindcore, you know, he's pulling that slot machine in the Gala Games spidertanks Discord, you know. Yeah, I can just say that I agree with Jay Soto, you know, because I dropped, you know, from deity to legend within 2 days. And this was not just, you know, regarding just that they removed the reactive plating. Okay, we compensate for the lack of damage with reactive plating. But yeah, and the thing is, you know, when you had high elo and we had like 3-4 teams stacked deity teams that you would face, you know, and then that power gap, you know, the damage between the tanks as well as the RNG, because I got, for example, a couple times, you know, heroes or legends or even, you know, down to the contender to play with against deity teams, and that was just massacre, you know. They just wrecked us. When they change it to solo, now it's now it's more even, you know. If you have two deity players, you know, they will be split. I played against Fanav maybe 20 games the other day. 20 games we played because we were at least it's so clear to me, you know, that we two were just two deity players online at that moment. And I know that people said, you know, that spidertanks is esports game, so we should have teams, and they complained that game media completely removed that, but that is not true, you know. People still can team up. People can arrange some matchups. For example, if Jay Soto, me, and Even Wave are one team, you know, DNK, you, and I don't know, Skazi can be the other team. So we can spar against each other. We can go, you know, and play a couple games as a team. And I agree that, you know, it requires skill to play in a team, but it also requires skill when you go solo. I saw, you know, that people say that it's not skillful to play like solo because you get RNG teammates. And in my opinion, you know, when you have a stacked team, you have just to analyze the enemy team. So who is the weakest link, you know, who is the one that you can kill, what you can do. But when you go solo, you have two additional players on your team that you need to analyze and say, okay, I need to protect this guy because he's just lunatic and he just goes to die, you know. And I think that it adds, you know, to understanding of the game. So I'm all for that, you know, that they split it, let the teams be teams, let solo people play solo games until maybe we reach that certain daily users, you know, that you can mix them both to fill the gap. But because, for example, if we have now two people who want to team up, I don't know how that works. If, for example, the two people will team up, will they get one solo guy and face the 3-team stack, or how that will work? I wish that game media made that a little bit more transparent and that they told us how that worked. But as I said, you know, I'm all for that, splitting them teams. I mean, splitting the matchmaking.
That is a great question, and one I was hoping that we could talk about, and if anyone had any answers on. But ultimately, it sounds like the split has functioned as a funnel to push people into solo play, so that matchmaking can better sort people. And you think that is a net positive for the community? I'm getting your final stamp of approval. pro
Yeah.
or against it? Yeah, pro. Okay. And DNK, we'll let you wrap this one up for us.
Okay.
Bring the word, my man.
All right, short and sweet. All right. So first and foremost, Wildfire brought up a really good point earlier. I never thought about it truly in that capacity, but I realized he was talking about the level 0 playing against a level 30 with reactive plating. And I realized that all level 30 versus level 0 matchups are utterly ridiculous. Like they shouldn't exist. And I think the dev team is doing a great job at like tailoring the matchmaking to the community's needs. But I think that's the biggest thing they should address. Like it rarely happens with me, but it does happen. I have played games as a level 30 against like 2 level 0 tanks. And maybe it's because not many people are online and an increase in player base will fix those problems. And it's not like a problem with matchmaking itself, just a player base issue. But I think that should be like the first thing that's addressed. Second, I do like solos only. Like it's solos have been super fun. I definitely think it's a whole different competitive edge. Like it's more focused on the individual. However, with that being said, being here for Spider Tanks in so many different phases of the game, I definitely think that overall it's a team game. It should be played. People should have the opportunity to use the connections and community they built and like their friends. They should be able to team up and play against other people. And I think it builds a lot of character facing that unbeatable team over and over again. It really teaches you, like, it shows you how good your team really is, and I feel like we kind of lost that element that's always been in the game, whether it's like old school, early YSL, or like the spoiler squad that was just terrorizing people, or even waving myself and meditator for a while with terrorizing some people. But I feel like all in all, once the game is larger, maybe we can figure out how to do that the solo only queue and the team queue. But if we can't figure it out, I think they should just the solo should just be a phase that's over with. They should reinstate team play, and we should just get back to old school spider tanks.
Good. That's so. Ultimately, are you saying that it takes away more
Yeah.
than it adds, and that the game is changing from it's heading like it's turning the dial just to a different direction that changes it from like ultimately what you believe is like good for it teams?
Yes, and we can argue if that dial change is in the more competitive direction by making everyone play, or the less competitive direction, not having teams to fully coordinate. I would argue is less competitive, but it would like have you hone skills. I don't know, because like Kazan said, we still can go into private matchmaking and play scrims for no silk, but there's no fun in that. Like you want to play for the silk, so. I don't know. It's a lot to debate, but all in all, I think that it's fun. But we should go back to the team model for Spider Tanks.
Yeah, personally, as I have been playing Spider Tanks and trying to get good, playing with the team is huge, dude. Like, like the old saying that like an ox can pull like what X amount, but two ox is like significantly stronger. There's like definitely strength to team, and even just like someone was speaking earlier about you have to be aware of your teammate when you're in solo queues. Kaizen was. It creates a different type of skill that you have to develop, like a different kind of awareness. So those are great takes, guys. Does anyone disagree with DNK on our panel? Does anyone want to like try to convince DNK that he's wrong and this is a net positive? Jay Soto, Ian Wave, Kaizen, any of you guys?
I disagree with DNK in advance. Okay.
I think it's completely wrong about this. Like, it makes no sense, and everyone was complaining. Everyone's tapping out. How does it make sense? It's just like, I mean, if you want to team up, like you said, like get your team and queue up, man. Like, want to play solos, but don't mix them. Like, the game gets really, like, I don't know, like, I was complaining and I loved the game. Like, that's how like tilting it was to solo queue. Like, imagine like you come from work, you're tired, man. You want to relax, play some solos. You go in, you get a full DD team. Like, you're like, all right, cool. You get in again, bro. You get it, like, and you get it 5-6 times in a row. You're like, you know what? Fuck this, man. I'm done for the night. I'm not gonna play it. And that's not the mentality. We just want to play a bunch of games. No, I'm saying if I want to sweat, dude, I want to put a team together and play it versus other teams. I want to relax and I want to get better. I want to play some solo queue.
Okay, that's fair. I hear you there. I hear you.
But how? That's the question. I think Kaizen brought it up. So if everyone's queuing, if you have two, like I guess duos wouldn't exist. That's the how. There are no duos anymore. It would only be like with the proper player base to where you could choose to either go in solos or going with your full team. You have to have 3-stack or solo, like, and that makes sense. That's
not
super
bad.
easy.
That's not a bad option. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna get Grindcore. He's been raising his hand for a minute, and I definitely want to give him a chance to speak. So, bring you up on stage. Let me know when
1/3
you get
Nexus?
here. Let's see if he made his way up on stage.
Also, real quick, Soto, with like the League of Legends example,
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of also, like, we definitely need teams, especially for a competition, because you could take somebody that's the number one support player in the world. You could take an Afro move caliber player and put him in solo queue, and he probably won't be challenger. He could, but it's going to be a lot harder because the role requires your ADC to be so strong, or
Well,
for you to have a
actually,
synergy and communication with your ADC.
yeah.
So
Well,
in a
actually,
team game, if you don't have that,
actually,
it makes you worse.
Actually, I've been following like League esports for 10 years, man, and it turns out that the best players come from solo queue. Like all the people that be playing in teams for multiple years, they turn out to be they just don't perform anymore, man. So they got to keep getting like the new blood in solo queue, and that's how the game has been. So I think solo queue is like really important to develop talent.
Yeah, and that's fair, and that's a parallel I'll draw with my professional baseball career and training for pitching, is that there's this idea of blocked versus random practice. Block practice would be something that's repeatable. Think like a brick. Like, you can do this again. It's a big chunk of work. It looks the same. You do it again, and that's really good for specializing. But there are diminishing returns when you specialize. And we find that to really increase your skill when it comes to pitching, or like even golf, is the more variance you can apply to that skill, ultimately the more stable it will be as a skill, that you can access it whenever you want. So there is an argument that solo queue mends you to be a different player than team play could. Grindcore looks like he's back. I think it kicked him for some reason, but let's see if he can make it back on stage. What's up?
Real quick, before we do that,
Okay.
quick, Chair Bandit doesn't have his mic available, but he just wanted to point out from something that we just said recently. He just wanted to say that, remind us that, teams still can play. They just, when they queue, they just queue against other teams. And somebody said they didn't know what happened if you could duo queue. You can duo queue also, and it'll grab a solo player to play with you. He said he's dropped solo and gotten pulled into a team, and it put him on like a duo team recently. But he just wanted to point that out, because he said he didn't think folks necessarily realize the functionality is totally still there. Like, you can team up. It's just like, it just, solo queue's better now, I think.
Yeah, appreciate
And
it.
I think in high elo it might take a bit longer, because you're right. Yeah, I did notice that I did get games duo queue and like in teams, but it took a super long time, like at the deity level, like mythic deity level, because more people were solo queuing. And I noticed when I did get games, all the people I would usually see in my like team, like grouped up in different teams, they were all in solo queue too. So I'm like, okay, I guess everyone's just solo queuing right now. So that's what I'm gonna do too.
Yeah, thank you for clearing that up and making sure that was said,
Yes.
clearly. I don't want to mislead anyone. I know that we may have talked critically about it in some aspects, but I don't want to mislead people and spread misinformation that's not available. So thank you for that. Grindcore, thank you for being patient, my man. Sorry about that, but the floor is yours. Whatever you got for us.
I agree with everything D&K said. I think he's pretty rational, pretty much the most rational person here, and that's really all I want to say.
All right, let's go. We got a D&K.
Oh yeah,
What a compliment. That's the first time I've ever heard that in my
Let's
life.
go,
Thank
dude.
you, Grindcore. I know that was a completely unbiased take, and you did not say that because you are 1/3 of the Nexus Boys trademark. However, thank you for your comment.
Let's go. That was huge.
Yeah, that's a real one, dude. That's a real one right there.
Barley Style NTM. Let's see if we can get you on the stage. It seems like there's some kind of latency period in between. I don't know if you guys need to be accepting these. So I guess if you're raising your hand, keep an eye out for it. Don't stray too far away from Discord if you're listening, because I do think you need to accept these requests.
Oh yeah, you have to.
So let's see. I'll give him a few more seconds. See if he can make his way on the stage, and if not, Map Damon, I appreciate you raising your hand to speak and being patient, and we'll get you on.
We got Scuzzy too.
Yeah.
Yo, Soto, real quick too. I agree with your point on the league, like how the best players come from solo. I just feel like if you take the best of the best, right? Not considering, and they all came from solo, and now you give some of the best practice setting where they're practicing in a team, practicing team comps against other strong team comps, and then you have them play against the other like solo players. They're gonna wipe the floor with them just because
Oh
they
yeah,
have
yeah.
a,
No,
you know what
no.
I'm saying? Like they have a better
Well,
understanding of how to work as a unit.
But that's the difference, man. You play solo queue, so you get good enough, so you can go to a team, and then you learn to play in a team. But I'm saying like you're not supposed to mix both of them. I think you should keep them separate. Like that's all I'm gonna say. Like it makes no sense, man. Like if you want to play solos, play with other solos. Like why would it match you with like a full team that is like willing to go like super sweaty mode?
Yeah, I feel that. Well, I guess the answer right now is because player base, probably. You know, like that's the or like who's playing, or you know. But assuming that wasn't an issue with the League of Legends numbers, I agree. I think, and based off of the way Even Wave said, Chair Bandit explained it. It sounds like the current system is like the best one, to where you can duo, full team, or solo, but it only puts teams against teams. Like that makes sense to me.
Yeah, like the main thing, my main thing right now is like, you know, a lot of us have been here a long time, like over a year, you know, almost 2 years now, and those people who have been here like a long time, I hate to say it, but at this current moment in time, I almost care less what they say. Like because the only thing that I want to hear
New
right now
users.
is new people are loving the game and they're like getting addicted to it, and they're like coming into Discord and they're like, oh my gosh, this game is so much fun. Like I'm so excited about it. You know, like that's like all I want to hear right now. So at this like crucial moment in time. So like I just like the fact that matchmaking is. I know it's not like the most ideal for teaming up and stuff like that, but it's just like it's catering to those new players at this critical moment.
I mean, then maybe reactive is the best thing ever. Because imagine you're a new player, you don't know how to play, you press reactive, everyone starts shooting at you, you get a double, like you're gonna be hooked. You're gonna be playing the game every day.
A reactive that actually works, to where either you like time out the reactive and don't die and it naturally explodes, or you set it off before you die. I can totally see that. I literally think fixing that bug solves all the reactive, but we're not talking about reactive anymore.
All right,
Yeah, I agree.
Fat Cats, what's up, my man? Appreciate you making your way on the stage and being in the audience.
What's up?
Yeah, appreciate that. Sorry, I was in the middle of a game. I couldn't move over to the screen. I just wanted to comment on the reactive. I know you guys already commented the hell out of it, but my personal take on it is, yeah, it's real strong, but I think it's a great ability, and I do think it does require some skill. You know, I think if you don't get in there fast enough with it, it's definitely not that good. You know, so I mean, but I mean, yeah, there are a lot of triple takeouts with it. You know, it's kind of nice, and for some, you know, someone with a snowballer, because the snowballer, it does need a little help, I think. You know, I mean, it's got its advantages, but I think with what other ability can use it with the snowballer, like grenades, yeah, but you know, something that's like kick ass. All right, but that's not really what I want to talk about. I think they did a really good job with the taking off the teams, or separating the teams from the, you know, the solo players. That's really helpful. My biggest thing is like biggest concern about the game is getting the new players in, and I heard you guys start touching on that a little bit. And I know that's not the focus of this conversation, but I was thinking maybe we could have some kind of a separate level where the new players could come in and they're not getting totally smashed. Like, you know how we had that time where like everything was leveled out, everyone was a 12.
Yeah.
You know,
Man,
that
I
was
completely
kind of cool. That was kind of cool, right? Everyone, you know, had like a level playing field, and it wasn't, the tanks weren't super slow, but they weren't like OP. I'm just
yeah.
thinking maybe there could be two different levels, you know, something for new people to play, or the like where they don't necessarily have to earn, or if they do earn, maybe just like some chump change or something, you know, just to have a little fun.
Or they could
And
incentivize it and have you earn more. They can have a higher VP rate for if you choose to play level zeros, and you could just like put your tank, whatever tank you're using, is gonna be level 0 for the sake of this game mode. Like,
yeah, maybe just separate the play to earn from the like free play. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just an idea I threw out there.
All right.
I
That's all I got, you
completely,
guys.
Thank you, Farley
Yeah.
Style.
yeah. I wanted to speak on what he said
Yeah.
real quick.
I think Scotty has
I
been
agree with
waiting
him.
for like half an hour.
Yeah, I'll be real quick. I completely agree with him. I've said for the longest time that I just think I let me just put it this way. I remember when I first started playing this game, everyone sucked at it, like equally. So like it was fun because there was nobody smashing you. We were all the same level, and like they need to be able. There needs to be a way they can recreate that experience. I think, and I've almost thought maybe they should go almost to the extreme of like putting the brand new people like on just like a completely different build, and then like migrate them over to the full build eventually or something like just so that they can. But that's a little extreme. But like just hard segregate them in a way so that like they like Farley Style said they have time to just play the game with other people that suck equally as bad and just like fall in love with it like we did when we started. That's all I wanted
Yeah.
to say.
I like that the conversation has kind of taken this bent or this angle to approach this conversation from the idea of growing the player base. And this is something I think we spoke to in our general chat of our Mafia server not too long ago, just kind of as like conversation was going to this matchmaking split, and people are passionate, like why should, if I have incentive and I'm earning from this game, why should I go out of my way to make it harder for me to get wins? And especially a lot of these guys at high elo, do they have a moral? Like, is it an ethical thing? Should we be weighing that? Can we, say and comment on other people's, decisions if we don't know like where they're coming from? But viewing this from the situation of the sweetest thing that our ears could hear is there are more players playing spider tanks. That's something we all
Yeah.
want. And this, I just want to take the moment to share this idea that there are things in life, and in this case, that don't necessarily require a solution right now, or it may be out of our control. It may be something that we can't control, but that just to pose another solution and entertain just for a moment that this is a tension that we can manage. Like, it's kind of like if I'm holding something heavy and it's on my chest, I need to press it off of me. It's going to take a lot of work. But if I'm just holding something and my goal is just to not let it go down, like I can kind of like lower it down slowly, and that might be more attainable. So thinking of this as just like a burden, like we can talk and we can argue about the meta game in this, and should it be team based? Like, should we all play as teams, or should we be in solo? Like, so funneling players into solo queue for more favorable queuing times, and all those reasons. Does that change the game? And ultimately, this is like something that we're burdening, like we're wearing that for the time being. And I think we can all do our part and we can voice our opinion, and that's why we're having this conversation. That's why we're having these roundtable events, but also just to wear it for a little bit, because we're doing this for a reason. We're doing it for the player base. But that is all I want to say. That's my soapbox. I just want to take a moment to say that. And let's see if we can get the brain back on stage. I know he's going to have some truth bombs for us and
Scuzzy's
a
hands
excellent
getting
take.
tired.
So let's buckle up and prepare ourselves. Scuzzy, floor is yours, my man. Thank you for being here.
All right. So Map Damon was first, I think. So
Okay,
I don't want to be rude to him, but
we'll get him up.
longer.
You can go ahead. We got you up here. We'll get to Map and Azure, and then we'll kind of round this off. And if anyone has something that they didn't get to say, let's continue the conversation in general chat, and we can flesh those ideas out there, because it is important that we talk about this and we consider all of the point of views from this. So please feel free to just drop that in general, and we can pick that up. But go ahead, Scuzzy. We'll let you get to it.
All right, so I got a hot take.
Hit me
I
with it.
zoned out. I zoned out a little bit because the way my brain works is I forget what I'm about to say if it's too long, so it might be a little scattered here. But I think what they did needed to be done. I don't personally think the game is balanced enough. I was gonna say something about this when we were talking about RP because DNK said something about long range and being out of range with a lava. Lava's not even long range; it's mid range. You have a couple other things that are longer range, but I think the main problem, and it's a very complex problem, is the team dynamic and the way the weapons are balanced in the team. Forget this is 1v1 because it's not. This is not 1v1. It's 3v3. And you could have a team in solo queue that is all long range against a team that is all snowballers. Reactive plating helps with that, sure. But I think reactive plating needs some balancing. But overall, I think the game just needs to be balanced. And I think that's why we're seeing teams versus solo queue in such a way where you have a 3-stack in the team and they know what to do because they have these weapons. They have a long range weapon, they have a mid range weapon, whatever. They have the good weapons. And then you have the solo players who are just thrown together because a player base issue. But also, I would like to say that I think it's a balancing issue too. But I think it's very complex. And I think what they did right now was the right move because you're separating that. But I think the game needs to move in a direction where you can have solo queue players play against full team players, and the game is balanced in such a way that everybody's having fun. Because if we don't want to segregate people. This creates just division and arguments, and a lot of times they don't get anywhere. So I think once they get to a point where the game is actually much further balanced, I think it's super whack right now. Like it's okay, right? You can play and there's things to counter other things. But there's a lot of nuances where if you get really, really skilled players, and I don't think we have those yet. I think we just have, casual players and stuff. We don't have the true like pro top gamers that are coming over yet. Once they come in, they're gonna be like, "What? I have to use this weapon because there's no other option." You know what I'm saying? Like I was telling, I picked up a laser the other
Yeah,
day,
lasers
and I
are
was
great
telling
too.
people, I was like, "You're gonna want me back on the lava,"
Mhm.
and I wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
It took me a couple hours, and I was just blasting people from 29 range. You can't beat that, So I think it's a balancing thing.
I agree with you 100%, Scuzzy, and I feel like the team has done a lot in balancing. And honestly, I would say that this game is better balanced than a lot. But I do
Yeah.
agree with you 1,000,000,000% that
Yeah.
it does need some kind of balancing retouch because there's like you said, like range is the issue. Like I knew once you mentioned the most like when the super crack 13-year-olds come in here and the weapons they're gonna want to pick up, I already knew it's laser because like the range is so crazy, the damage is so crazy. That last fat bullet is wild. We're not even talking about the hitbox on it, but just the damage is just wild. Like it's easily exploitable. And range in general is just like there's no advantage to choosing mid range or even short range. I mean, aside from flamethrower and its absolute carnage, but
Right.
I feel like there's range just has before reactive plating, the meta was cannon turrets and range, and everyone complained because it was boring. It was you had to hit your shots, but if you didn't have the most range, you weren't gonna win. Or like with the cannon turrets. And then it shifted to reactive plating, and everyone complains. But like you said, I think it's because the overarching issue here is a balancing one, not the abilities.
I would argue if you have a long range weapon, and put a big body with it, that's so impossible to kill. I
As
mean,
either
like,
wave.
because once you get to it, even with a short range thing, like, yeah, they do high damage, but man, you're taking so many bullets along the way,
Yeah, man.
Titan
So
laser.
Dude,
wild.
crossbow is nasty, dude. Crossbow is like so OP.
Gross.
Yeah, I think that Scuzzy brought up a really interesting point in the fact that the game is fairly balanced from like a 1v1, like the way the weapons are, like when you think of them that way, but I don't. Has the balancing ever really been addressed? Does it get addressed ever from like a 3v3 perspective? Because like it's like yeah, you can rush Brambler, but you can't rush Brambler when there's a really awesome crossbow on their team shooting at you. All it's about the dynamic of those three weapons on a team together and how they work together that things really get OP.
This
And
is
there's like real quick, Bear. There's like 5 other weapons that are all game-breaking weapons that haven't been introduced yet or properly
That's
balanced.
true.
Like if you really think about what this game has to
Yep.
offer in the future, it's like sniper, railgun, shocker. Shout out to Kafina and Hillgun. Like just to name a few. Like T-Ray. Once that gets balanced and it's proper, like and they do something like they're gonna be like even the tiger weapon. Did they just erase that weapon completely, or are they gonna? Like I feel like all the weapons they have, like if they're good, they're gonna be like strong, like
Yeah, and that makes me. I would be really curious to see like a standard deviation plot of the most used tanks on the top elo players. And I know there's going to be some selection bias with smaller sample sizes, but it might tell a story. I don't know. Um, and we could. I know we just got the was it that list of the weapons earlier. But still, yeah, this is an interesting angle that this conversation has taken. Getting you guys and having a lot of people who have been here for, like you were saying earlier, even Wave, like a year or 2 years, and the depth of the nuance of the game that it's taken. I see a lot of people complaining about these issues as it affects them, but it is really cool to see how you guys take this one step further and think about this from the top levels of the game. It's really cool to see in it, and it makes me like consider more ways that I can be better and improve my game. Map Damon, get you back up here. Appreciate you for waiting, man. I'm sorry it took so long, but these conversations have just been good, so we're letting them roll. You're up, man.
Oh yeah. Just listening to everything. I'm at a birthday party right now, so it might be a little bit loud. But as far as I've heard, it's all really good respects of matchmaking. I'm going to speak from the perspective of a silver player. I've been playing now for a while in solo queue. I actually haven't been invited to any major teams. Speaking on that, the matchmaking's been awesome. Really close matches, within a point or two, unless I have a couple of teammates that just cannot seem to figure out how to push the damn chicken. That's always agitating, but whatever. The only thing I can say is that incentivizing team building would be awesome if Gala would do it. I don't know if they have the funds, and I don't know if it's possible, but there should be a VP boost for teams. That way we incentivize forming teams and building teams, because it's an esport, it's an esport. We want it to be an esport. That's where we're trying to head. So I just feel like a small VP boost there would be incentivizing guys to group up from solo. And as it was stated before, solo does have the most talent, hands down. I fought some guys on solo that have never been on a team that just kill it hardcore. So that's all I really wanted to say, was that I kind of agree with everything that's been said. And I think matchmaking has been awesome for solo. I've had tougher matches and had more ELO loss since the change, and I think that's only sharpening my skills. Thanks.
Dang it! Sorry, I didn't mean to kick you there and cut you off. But
that was solid. That was solid.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
that was awesome. That was really good points.
appreciate you sharing those points, and I know it is easy for some of these aspects to say like, well, we'll just throw more VP and that'll incentivize people more to do the game this way, and maybe that is the answer. I don't know, and we can explore those as well. But I think it hits on a big theme that I know I've talked with a lot of you guys about, is the dynamic that this game has as a team sport and the dynamic it has as a solo sport, and like, is the needle that as it tilts, what does that mean for the players, and how does the gamer relate to the game, like the emotions that are and that like stirred up in them. Like, I personally have the most fun when I'm playing this game as a team. I play way better when I'm playing as a team. Maybe that's just my skill level or my certain like skill, where the areas that I am better in is like playing support or like covering my angles versus like having to be John Wick and kill everybody and protect everybody at the same time. Like maybe I just need to get better. So solo, maybe it's frustrating, but maybe it's what I need to get better. Who knows? But I do for like this game, like it just has something special to offer, like you guys are saying, as an esport and as a team, and the effects this has on the ecosystem. So I do appreciate those points. You guys got anything to add to that as well before we bring Azure on stage?
Yeah, real quick.
I did think. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, it's super quick. E. I think exploring like an honor boost for teams would be dope also. Like or
Yeah,
like yeah, that's what it's called, the honor system, the spider tank honor system.
Mhm. Yeah, which that apparently is probably going to get revamped a little bit here soon, from what it looks like. But yeah, I was just gonna say, essentially, I thought that was an interesting idea about giving teams like a VP boost or like an honor boost, like you said. It's a interesting way to look at it because this game is a very competitive game, and it's one of the things. Like you look at this game compared to another game, it has like that depth of competition where it's just like, oh, you change one little special ability, and now all of a sudden this team beat this team. Like it's just like, I don't know. It really it should focus on teams, yes, but my whole thing is just that I think it's just we're kind of at a crucial moment in time, and I think I think it would be wise to focus on making kind of tailoring the user experience to new users right now, just for a little bit, like while we're growing, while we're trying to, we all want this thing to grow.
And E, real quick, I think it also means a lot that all of us here like can say that we like enjoy the game, like we think the game is a team oriented game. However, I would probably say that most, if not all of us, are having fun playing it the solo version. Like I'm seeing like lobbies
Mhm.
where it would have been Spoiler, Wookie, and Fana all on one team versus me, you, and Scuzzy or something. And now it's all switched up. Now it's me, Scuzzy, and Spoiler versus you, Fana, and Wookie. And now we get to, I don't know. I feel like just these solo interactions are just super fun. Seeing all the high level people playing, like, and no one knows whose team they're gonna be on. Like from every given game, you never really know the outcome.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh.
All right, we're gonna get Azure up here unless you guys got something real quick.
No, I want to hear from Azure.
All right, let's go. We'll see when he makes his way up here.
The Brambling Man.
Gentlemen,
Welcome.
thank you. You guys made a lot of really good points, and especially about like talking about balance and getting new players in. What I thought was really interesting though is that balancing is the only thing that really seems to be in game media's control right now. And so we get these changes and we hope for the best, but there's such a small player base playing that we aren't really sure potentially what is balanced and unbalanced right now. Once we get more people in here, I think it's going to change dramatically. I mean, the game is still so new, even though I've been playing over a year now. It's hard to even believe. Sometimes I feel like it's passed me by. But right now, the player base is so small that the real problem, I think, is a lack of parity. And I think once we have some parity, it will give us a truth about what is actually balanced. The matchmaking split, it balances out Team Elo. So, I think what we all complained about when we were playing these high level games was, okay, we have a team, 3 deities, maxed out Elo. How exactly do you form a team that can compare against that at any given time when the player base is so small? There could be 2 deities that are solo queuing, and then it just grabs whatever silver players left to throw in there because we've waited a certain X amount of time. And so, eventually, once we have the parity at each rank, what is there, like 18 now? it almost doesn't make sense. There's only so many people in these slots, and then at the very top, there's a huge handful of deities. We need more people to balance this out. I don't think I am necessarily a Mythic 2 player, and that's where I'll be forever. I think what keeps me there is the fact that I didn't want to play and get farmed constantly by these, high-level teams that just keep killing you over and over again. And I know all you guys nearly up here have been deity, and I know not a single one of you also hasn't left because they didn't want to be farmed by, whatever X team that just keeps killing everybody because they have the strat and the tanks right now.
Me is sure I lose every time.
Yeah.
I graciously take my butt whooping and
I
see
mean,
what I can learn from it. I thank
that's
him afterwards.
yeah, okay. Well, I think we definitely need more people, and once more people are here, we're going to see dramatic changes to the point where we don't need the matchmaking split. This is a band-aid, and it's a band-aid that's necessary right now.
That's a great way to put it. I like that, the way of looking at it. Like, it is kind of like a band-aid, and I agree that it's not ideal for what Spider Tanks could be, as a team esport, very highly competitive game. Like, it's not ideal for that, but yeah, it like you said, it's a band-aid that's needed right now. I thought that was phrased very well.
Agreed. Some would even say poetic.
Yeah,
I mean,
thank you, sure.
I still think you got to keep solo queue and teams like do not mix them together. I don't think that's ideal. Like I keep referring back to League, but that's how they be running it, like for a specific reason. Like for example,
Soto,
like,
real quick, Soto. I think like instead of solos, I feel like the better word is like casuals, maybe, because like I definitely feel you. I think it's the competitive and casual nature that like makes solo queue so alluring to you.
Here, like League has like ranks like here, right? So for example, I'm just gonna put it. So you can rank from like say Aspire to champion, right? And you can play duos or teams. But then once you get to like Legend, Mythic, they don't let you play with anyone else. You go straight solos. You cannot do duos anymore. And I think that's a good way, because when you are like on the high elo and you want to play solos, it's only fair to play with solos, because if anyone's with a team and it's good enough to be in that rank, it's gonna be unbeatable. Because you're playing on your own, dude.
Yeah,
So
that's a new feature in League. Because back when I was playing League, it was definitely teams but maybe I just wasn't high enough. I wasn't really past plat diamond area. So I feel you.
So we're gonna wrap this up, but that is an interesting thought that I've never considered. And what would that do for like actual esports outside of earning Silk and earning VP in the game, but kind of organized esport? That would have an interesting dynamic, and I'm curious the implications of that. So I don't know, like if anyone has a take on that, please drop it in general. We're gonna move the conversation over there, and you're more than welcome to jump in one of our voice channels, our 5-6 voice channels. But I just want to take the moment to really just say thank you for all of you guys who have been here. I think we've held like 19 people in the audience this whole time, and I'm blown away. And I just am very thankful for all who are here, and especially those who got up on stage and shared the thoughts, furthered the conversation along. That is huge, and it is what we need. I think it's not only going to help us clarify our voice, but it's going to help us kind of grow together as a community and create like a really tight-knit community of gamers who are passionate about Spider Tanks. So from me, thank you guys. And any one of the Flusso crew who are here on the panel today with us for the roundtable, if you guys got anything to say before we finally close the book on this MAF roundtable event, I'll let you go ahead and say your piece.
Yeah, I love hearing everyone's voices. Like, I think we should do this more often. Like, I love hearing like what other people have to say, and I think like this kind of format I think it's actually easier for us to communicate and sort of get across like what we want to say, rather than like in text on Discord. So thank you for putting this together, Baird, and let's do more of these. It was a lot of fun, and I want to hear from more people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is great to be honest. It feels like back in the day before we had the matchmaking, before when we had to hop on servers and there used to be like 20 of us and only like 6 would play it, but we would just kick it together. It kind of feels like that, man. So it's definitely great.
Do y'all remember the time when we only had like one lobby in the whole game and it would be like 20 people watching like 6 people play? That was
Well,
probably my favorite time in Spider
That's what I was
That was
referring
fun.
to, dude.
Yeah, like that was crazy. Like it's been a lot of different Spider Tank times, but that one, like I would just hop on Spider Tanks every day, not even play, just to watch. I might commentate some games, just might
Yeah,
hang
there's like
out. Like
it's like Spider Tanks TV. You could just hop on and just watch if you
Yeah.
wanted to throw it in the background. I did kind of like that.
That's good. Yeah, I wonder how many people in here are playing right now and just have this kind of on, listening to it. I mean, that's kind of cool. Like just playing the game and having a good conversation, about the game. So I'm gonna go ahead and we can wrap this up. But again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for taking the time to join the server and make your way over here just to be a part of the conversation. It really means a lot to us. And we look forward to doing this again. So keep an eye out and for our notifications. Follow us on Twitter. And that'll be a great place to stay updated with all Mafia operations and stay active in the server. We'll put out information on when the next time we're going to do something like this is, and maybe it'll be in another game. I know I saw Kimrar in here. I see Thor. Maybe it'll be in another game. So if you're passionate about other projects than Gala or just in the crypto space, just be sure to check out our official link server to find all the links to our official Mafia servers, and maybe there's one that you're into. So don't be a stranger, and I appreciate you guys. Have a good night, good day, wherever you're at, and until next time.
GG. Keep up ping.
All right,
Yeah,
it was
thank you,
great.
everybody.
GG, guys.
It was awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining. It was amazing.
Y'all later.
All right. All right, well, that was fun, dude. Not gonna lie, that was fun. I think I should have went a little bit more spicy with my takes, but I think we gotta take it slow. Maybe in the future, do we go a little bit hard? Because I didn't want to be too mean, bro, because with my points, but I could have definitely taken it to the next level. But I think I'm just gonna hold it for the next event or whatever, because it might turn out to be where we do it like every week or every 2 weeks. So I'll definitely have time to make it a bit more spicy. All right, then, guys, we're gonna call it for today. We're gonna record a video. We're gonna make a tier list of top 20 crypto projects. We put some meme coins, so I'm literally gonna shit talk them on the video, dude, and I'm gonna clip it, maybe go viral. When I see Dogecoin, I'll be like, get that shit out of my face. It's just a meme coin. I'm gonna say some mean ass shit, dude. People are gonna go after me on Twitter, dude. All right, then, guys, GG. It was fun.